All right, this chair right here is where it happens. That's where I get a lot of thought from. And I'm going to just sit down today and we're going to look at what's behind me here. And this is a 1957 Ford that we've been working on for well over 25, probably been in my possession almost 30 years. Been on a lift for 22 years. 22 years. With a rebuilt 292 on it, and we've gathered up everything. We had it's kind of a unique story, but me and my buddies grew up in this old car, riding around in it without shocks on the back and all that kind of stuff. And we had a lot of fun in this old car. But I'm gonna tell you, when I got a hold of it, I found it in a field, and I said, "That's the old car that we used to drive around in as kids." And sure enough, it was it. And they had taken, I'll show you a little progress to it, but they had cut the wheel wells out on one side and cut a wheel arch out, I guess gasser style, and had it all apart and little giblets everywhere. I mean, it was sad. And so I gathered it all up. I purchased it out of that field. I gathered it up and moved it to my old shop and pulled it in and sorted it out and figured I had enough body parts to put it back together. And so I went on the quest of getting new old stock parts like new glass, rubber seals, felts, things of that nature, and all the little components to put it together. I've got a new wiring harness, easy wiring harness for it, and got an old set of new old stock seat covers from the 60s now. They were new in the box, but they're from the 60s, and they were just old cheap plastic vinyl, early vinyl. Early vinyl is very brittle, but this is all nice, new, and pliable, and hopefully we'll get that report sometime in the near future. But right now, here's the quest. We're going to take and move this car down off this lift. I've got it, actually it's the lowest it's been in a very long time. We had a local engine builder that done the machine work and balanced it. And I've done some blueprinting, no major blueprinting. It just has some cylinder matching and CC matching on the combustion chambers, and just gasket matching the intake to the head, and things of that nature. The exhaust are enlarged. It still retains old 1962 292 heads, which has, they're small valves. There's nothing real hot roddy about it. It does have an Escuderian cam, and as we can see, it does have the 3 deuces on it, and we're fixing to put some gas in it, believe it or not. I spent the last 2 or 3 days just getting it ready and hooked up, and the radiator in, and the cooling system, the charging system ready, and the carburetors and the linkage ready, and the electrical. We've got a Axel points eliminators, little module that goes in the distributor. It's Axel points eliminator, and I held off. I was wanting to crank it to Saturday. Today is Monday, but Saturday I was wanting to crank it, and I couldn't because I went to I bought a new coil. It was a branded coil. It's supposed to be a Axel 8401, but it was not, and it ohmed out at 3.5 ohms. Of course, on a V8 you can't do that. It has to have anywhere from, like a racing, from a 0.6 or 7 ohm to 1.5 ohm, and so we had to order up another Axel Superstock coil to go with this system so it'll work. So I wanted it to work out of the gate. I mean, what we done is we set the distributor we set the initial timing on the harmonic balancer. See, it's been top dead center and zeroed on the harmonic balancer. Set it to 30 degrees, and then turn around and to the distributor and line up to number 1 right there at 30 degrees, okay? And that should give me a rough initial timing to get it running. Years ago I used to set them dot, and have to jack around on the time and figure out what's going on. But I found that if I set it up to at least 30 degrees on this old Y block, racing motor you want to set 36, 38 degrees. This one set to 30 degrees. That should give me a good initial timing to get it fired up. So now we want to turn on everything. So what I've got here is I put a Moroso old drag box I've got here, and we're going to mount it on just to get it running. Okay, I'm going to put a push button starter. It's got a push button on it, but I'm not going to use that because when I get this thing down, this box is going to go inside the car. I'm going to mount it to the tunnel temporarily so I can drive it in and out. And see, when I'm driving it in and out, then I can do my final body work. This is a Ford Desert Turquoise paint, and we're going to paint it that it was initially that baby blue or sky blue and a white top. That's what this car was. But I'm going to paint it all of this desert turquoise, and so I'm looking forward to that.